Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Monday, September 11th, 2023. And before we get started, it was 2001. So it's hard to believe it's been 22 years since the Twin Tower, the attacks on America. And so we just want to acknowledge that those that were lost. We want to also acknowledge the championing of the congressional approval for those that are dealing because of that, and others that are that suffer from disasters like that. A lot of chatter went on for some years. I can't remember the brother's name. He was a talk show host that was advocating a lot for those that are impacted long term to get rights, and so we're glad that that happened as well. Also, on a very different, happy note, I would like to acknowledge my sister's 50th birthday today, Deidre Stubbs. Today is her birthday, and so if somebody can tag her and let her know we're celebrating her today, she's going to get me. This was my weekend, so I was not able to make it to her event last night. But Deidre, happy birthday to you. Appreciate you. Love you much. We go back a long, long time, so hopefully you will see this. But this morning, we are here with Boston Children's Chorus. We have Brother Andres Holder. Excuse me. Also, my voice is interesting because, I did a lot of yelling and stuff this weekend. So Akiva Abaka as well from Boston Children's Chorus. And they're going to talk with us about their upcoming season. And so we're going to go ahead and bring them in and have them chat with us this morning about Boston Children's Chorus and this season. Many of you, I would hope, are familiar with Boston Children's Chorus. If not, we will learn more about them in just a few moments. But Andres, I'm going to mess with you a little bit because we are brothers and we are friends. So we're going to go ahead and let Akiva get started first, ladies first. And then I'll come and bother you. Yep. Go ahead and take the sip now while you can. And just at some point, don't spit it out all over the keyboard. I'm Akiva, welcome. This is my brother, messing with him, but welcome to the Java Cafe. Please introduce yourself and tell us how you're doing this morning. And we typically talk about mental health on Mondays. And so if you could just let us know, because I know working with young people can be interesting. And so if you could let us know in one word at the end of your introduction, how you're doing today from a mental health standpoint in one word.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Akiva Abaka, as Jimmy has pointed out, and I am the world's first. I just want to uplift that.
World's first? We like stuff here. World's first, dropping news and stuff.
Well, Boston Children's Chorus, we're the world's first entry into this notion of the director of good trouble. And so my work here at BCC is concerned with implementing, collaborating with staff, artists, community, parents, singers, to create social justice principles and practices that will help with the operations of the chorus, but also rooted in civil rights principles as well. And one may say, well, how does that pan out? It pans out in the way we look at our organization from budget to the boards. And we folks in the industry, the boards mean the stage. When we say see you on the boards, we mean see you on the stage. And how does our work uplift equity? How does our work uplift people and what is the legacy, the anti-racist, anti-oppression legacy that our work, that is reflected in our work. And that has to be structural. It can't just be aspirational and in a mission. It has to be built and rooted into the organization. So that's what I do here. I call myself a social arts worker because I'm a professional artist as well in the theater. And lots more. You'll learn a lot more about me. And so my mental health word for Monday is Marley. Marley. I'm always singing some Bob Marley on Mondays. It helps my we'll be forever loving Jah. So that's what I'm meditating on this morning. Some Bob Marley.
So wait a minute. I don't think I've ever had anybody use for their mental health word an artist. And when you said it, I'm like, okay, what's the depth? Okay, she's talking Bob Marley. Like, a quick second. And so you're Marley this one. You heard it first here in the Java Cafe, y'all. How you doing? I'm Marley. Okay. Andres. Okay, so I just have to give some whole commentary. Knowing you, this title does not surprise me at all. And I'm sitting here listening. I know my brother said she cheated with that. She cheated with that mental health word, Marley. And so, knowing you, I'm not surprised that you have a director of Good Trouble. And so, just listening to you, Akiba, I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting, and I so can't wait to come back and ask the question: what does all that you said have to do with the arts and music? And so, Andres, say good morning. I'm going to behave. I'm not going to bother you too much. The mother's board was praying for you this morning. No, I'm messing. But let us know, tell us who you are. And also with what you're doing there, I know that instituting a director of Good Trouble is interesting. Working with young people is interesting. So I'll ask you as well on this Mental Health Monday sort of theme. What is it that how you're feeling? Describe for us. So tell us in one word, describe for us how you're feeling in one word after your introduction. Then I'll probably bother you after that.
Okay. At least it's going to be after, not
after
before.
That. Yeah, I'll let you get comfortable and introduce yourself.
Much appreciated. Buenos días. Mi nombre es Andrés Holder y yo soy el director ejecutivo de Boston Children's Chorus. Nacido y criado en Panamá. I'm going to click the translate button. Don't worry. Good morning. My name is Andres Holder, and I'm the executive director of Boston Children's Chorus. I use he, him pronouns, born and raised in the beautiful country of Panama. And I am blessed to be here today in the presence of my first, you think I'm going to Kiva with this first, but I'm going to you, Jimmy. The person that led me in my first gospel singing experience. I've been a gospel fan for a long time. I grew up in the Episcopal Church, and Clarence Holder always said, we're not going to that jumpy church. And I'm like, Grandpa, I think you got it wrong. And I'm like, so thank you for including me in that. The Anglicans got the shade. That's what we got. We got that. Mm-hmm.
The jumpy church. Oh, there's so much here to unpack when you get done. Go ahead.
That's your Caribbean grandparents. That's how we do. Mental health wise, I am feeling optimistic. I think there's a lot of energy.
Optimistic. You just happened to say optimistic because that was one of the. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That was cute.
Coincidence, right? What a coincidence. Yeah, there's just a lot in our future. I mean, Akiba is starting week 7. Don't let me lie. Or 8, 7, right?
8, maybe 7 or 8.
With
give or
Boston
take.
Chorus, and we are so delighted to have her here. She's a wonderful complement to the rest of the team, and we're moving forward with great and exciting things.
I am excited to have both of you here. And so tell us about well, let me back up a little bit. Akiba, I heard a lot that you talked about, sort of what we can surmise and put under the umbrella of DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. And you talked about the fact that it not being just something that's written on paper on a website, but it being demonstrated. And so that's why we're here today to talk about, there's a season every year, there's a theme every year, but this year is very different. I'm sure that a lot of what's going on in the nation and around the country is an influence on taking this way and how Boston Children's Chorus is going to get in good trouble this season. And so I don't know who, I know how Andres is. He's not caught up in stuff, but I don't know who's going to make the announcement or tell us about the season. That's up to you two. But I just, at some point, I need to hear from both of you about what all this has to do with the arts and how.
Stands out.
Yeah. So, Andres, is it you, Akiba, or go?
I'll say this during my interview with, and I'm going to embarrass him. He knows this because I call him my genius boss. Andres said, there are a lot of people doing DEI and justice work, and I think there is some DEI in this work, but this work is not fully concerned with DEI, but it's one part of it. And I leaned back when he did that. And you're in an interview, you're very nervous. So leaning back is not what you do. But I leaned back because I said, what? He wants more than DEI? What does that mean? And then went on to say, this work must touch every aspect of this organization. And so the director of Good Trouble's work and how it aligns with, or how it shows up in the art, it looks at our work, not only the DEI work, right? But it also looks at our fundraising practices. It looks at our artistic programming. It looks at our staffing. It looks at how we engage community. Are we serving community, or are we serving ourselves in community? It looks at our different populations in our communities that surround us. We are a nonprofit. We are an arts organization. How do we make the arts and this incredible nonprofit a utility of the city of Boston? Not just an arts organization, because and Andres says this much better than I do, this is a very unique arts organization, a very unique chorus, because it was founded by a social worker.
Yes.
Many choruses across the field, the great Hubie Jones, Hubie and Catherine Jones,
Yep.
They are founded by artists. They are founded by parents. But to have a social worker create a chorus for the purpose of bringing communities together, starting with children, giving them opportunities to be acclimated with stories and lives that are not in their classrooms, that are not in their neighborhoods. That it was an intentional action, that was an act of civil rights, of civil unity. And it was about, I'm going to use music to convene the citizenship and the community that I want. And music is the convener, but the work is justice. And so this position of Good Trouble is there to ensure the rightful administration of that work.
Andres,
I'm just going to show myself out because I think Akiva's got this, so I'm just going to.
I mean, we can just continue
come back
and
in here.
Just take me out. It's good. It's good.
So none of this surprises me, sir. And Akiva, when you were imitating him in the interview about how he was talking, I'm like, oh God, I could pass out right now because you have him down packed. You got the cadence and everything well. And so let's just, Andres, back up a little bit. Can you give us sort of a brief history? There was a mention of the great Hubie Jones, who started this organization for the purpose of bringing young people together. This work, a lot of, I would believe that in the origin of Hubie's vision, he would not want Akiva's position to exist. Can I just assert that? I would hope that positions like this, you need to be employed, sis. You see where I'm going. That this would be automatic. We don't need to over assert the importance of DEI and different experiences that you may not get in the classroom, that you may not get in the neighborhood, Andres, that you may not get in your church, as you mentioned a few minutes ago. And so give us a little bit of the history of the Children's Chorus, and let's go into this season. because y'all are definitely showing y'all true colors this morning. Akiba, you about to be a new BFF, Jesus. All right, so Andres, bring us up a little bit from where Akiba talked about a lot of the pillars to how that translates into this season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for those who know Hubie's work, Hubie and Kathy had been working tirelessly for their entire lives in the city of Boston to improve outcomes and opportunities for young people, particularly young people of color. So when Hubie starts Boston Children's Course in 2003, he's doing that with 20 or 30 years of having done a whole bunch of other and starting other initiatives, getting into good trouble himself, Kathy getting into good trouble herself, to really move the conversation forward about the situation for young people. I did get to see a preview of the GBH documentary that's premiering today. It's the busing crisis, GBH tonight at 9. Hubie's featured in it because he was part of all the people that were coalescing to drive this conversation forward. Mm-hmm. So when he creates BCC, it has at the core of it, and remember this is 2003, it's this diversity conversation, right? When I hear Hubie talk about it, he often talked about bridging the urban-suburban divide, bringing people together, joy, harmony. As BCC grows and evolves and really starts deepening its roots, we enter into this conversation about justice under the leadership of Dr. Anthony Chusa King and David Howes, who led the institution for many years. And here we are in a world in which the rest of the world has started speaking the language that we were speaking in 2003. And a lot of people are doing the work that we were doing in 2003. However, if you look at the quote by Sandra Day O'Connor, when you think about race-conscious admissions, she was looking forward and saying, well, my hope is that in 50 years, we won't even need to have this conversation. But yet here we are, again, still. And having Akiba and the role present at BCC is so that we never forget that our work is dually integrated. I mean, it is not just teaching young people how to sing. It is creating those bonds and breaking down those biases that young people display as early as 5. If you've heard about the doll study, which doll is pretty, which doll is clean, right, which doll is not, that starts at age 5. And I don't have to explain the study for you to understand what's baked into it.
Oh. Yep.
So for us to actually do that work and live into the values and live into the promise of the institution and the real full potential that we have in creating agents of change, we have to internalize and deepen. So for me, the desire is to just go way further than anyone has gone in the current day to discover what the opportunities are for us to get our children to be the change that we want to see. And we're listening to the children. I mean, that's one of the things that I felt really proud that I wrote in Akiba's job description was the director of Good Trouble will create consultative practices that will center the voices of young. And I'm like, it's just a lot of nonsense to say, listen to the kids.
Basically, I mean,
there's a lot to learn there.
There is so much to learn there. Kurt Faustin often talks about sometimes, he says, forget the kids and work on us. And we debate about it a little bit. I get his point and agree with it, but I think it's dual, that you have to start with the young people. They don't have particularly the biases at that age. There's an opportunity to decrease the amount of bias because Akiba, at home and at the neighborhood, there may be some interesting influences. And so the chorus for those that are involved almost serves as a safety net to ensure that all involved. And a lot of times I think when we talk about those cultural experiences, some automatically presume that it is white learning just BIPOC, Black and brown. No, it's multi-faceted. It's the rainbow. It's the good segue. It's the whole, any and everybody within the cultures. And so where are we? What is season? Do you call it 23-24 or season
23-24? Yep, that's it.
All right. So 23-24. What are we here to share today? What is the focus of the season in this work of justice by using the arts? And I'm not letting y'all get away with you did it a little bit, Andres, in the origin of the chorus and the homage to Hubie Jones. But I want to hear Akiba's perspective as well, and more from you about arts and activism and yeah. So season 23-24, what's up?
Akiba, you
Well,
want to
this
take
is our
this one?
21st. But we're gonna tag team this one. This is
Okay.
our 21st. This is our 21st anniversary, and we're over. We're over the landmark hump, and we're entering our legacy age. And in this time, we are so we are commemorating in this season the 20th anniversary of marriage being legal in the state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
And our season theme is gay marriage being, legal in the state of Massachusetts. And so our season title is True Colors.
Mm-hmm.
And during this season, our work, engagement with our singers, our musical selections, our dialogue, our conversations will be centered on uplifting the lives and experiences of LGBTQIA families, children, leaders, the people who have made a way for not only themselves, but for all of us, so that we can make this step towards a more perfect union. And while the road is rough, we are moving and we're moving on together. And so that's what True Colors is centered on. I'm going to pass it on to Andres.
Hold on. Before you said the road is rough, I just needed you to follow up after that and say, but the going gets tough and the hills are hard to climb. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But we're moving on. We're moving and we're moving together.
Come.
Yes.
So our True Color season is going to have a whole bunch of concerts around the city. We're excited to kick off our season with our annual tribute concert to Dr. King at Symphony Hall on January 15th. We'll be presenting a concert titled Brave at Old South Church, March 23rd. We'll be presenting I Should Be Glad at the Gardner Museum, and we'll be presenting Lift Every Voice, all of us, at the Strand Theater. That's in May. And at the same time, BCC singers will be traveling back to Trinity Church in Southport, Connecticut. They invited us to perform there last year. We're going to return there. And we're also going to be performing at the Shaolin Liu Performing Arts Center up in Rockport. And we are working on a special tour. BCC is known for touring the world. At one point, the Boston Globe dubbed us ambassadors of harmony, and we'll be working on reigniting that area of work. One of our ensembles last year got to go to the Pro Musica Festival in Kingston, Ontario in Canada this summer. We had a different cohort go to Tanglewood to perform with the Boston Symphony Orchestra in Tanglewood. So we're working to create those experiences for the young people that we serve. I mean, BCC has been everywhere. We've played in London. We've played in the Sydney Opera House. We've played the White House. We've been everywhere. So this is the place where I'm hopeful that everyone that's listening, if they have a young person in their lives, whether it be in their household next door or a niece, nephew, loved one, tell them about Boston Children's Chorus. This is a place that really cultivates citizens of the world, people who are empathetic, and really, really, really good musicians. Really, that's just the base assumption.
Really, really good musicians, and of which you are definitely one. I'm just trying to get the website up here so folks can see. I actually just put the link to the programs, the 23-24 season, in the we lost the keyboard real quick. Hopefully
she'll be back.
Right. Okay. Hold on. I think I got it there. So there is the website with the season, the programs, True Colors. Angela Elizabeth, who is an artist as well, is in saying, make sure we keep folks up to date with the events. And here is where you can go to get the events and different things that are happening. I know I'm getting ready to get yelled at to zoom in. So y'all can, we can't see. And so there is, the website there for the information for the whole 23-24 season. Andres, while we're waiting for Akiba to come back, what is this correlation There's intentionality with the young people, but what is this correlation between arts, activism, and justice work? And you can add a little bit about, I think you and Akiba both covered the piece of the age. There's a lot going on. And artists have been very influential in movements over decades. Why is it important that we keep at the center of the arts justice, at the center of the arts DEI, at the center of the arts? One word that would sum everything up: humanity. Why?
The arts just allow us to feel. The arts allow us sometimes to be. I mean, there are just basic things that you see depending on what kind of learner you are. You'll see that painting and you'll feel something that you haven't felt before. You'll see that dancer do a little swish and you go, oh my God, what is that? You hear a note or a chord and you all of a sudden understand an emotion that was in you that you couldn't see, feel, understand before. So for us, we are firm believers that art is the antidote, the key, the crux of how do we get to understand each other better? And how do we get to raise up the people who for so long have been, listen, the art conversation, when I started in classical music, I started playing the oboe. I still play the oboe. I'm a nerd. And it's wonderful. But it was this expression of you go to the theater and you sit like this and you have to wait and you can't clap in between the move. And there's this whole social construct that has kept people outside of this conversation that we're just breaking down. At the end of the day, I want every single person at Symphony Hall, when we're there for the Dr. King tribute concert, I want them to clap whenever they want to clap. If you're so moved, clap. Experience the art however you want to experience it. Because at the end of the day, we need to get in touch with our own humanity to actually be the right kind of person we need out of each other. And I think that's the work. That's why I wake up every day. And, it starts with a little bit of this and it slowly start ramping up. And then I can't stop talking because I get so excited. But that's what we do. That's what we do here every day at Boston Children's Course. And we do it with a really, really intentional approach where we make really, really, really sure that every single classroom we're operating in has all the different identity markers that we all know we need in our lives to learn and understand the world. Sometimes we fall short of it and we say, you know what, we messed that one up. We got to do that better next time. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything is roses, but it is intentional. And whenever we fall down on it, we get up again and we try again. Because we owe it to the young people we serve. That's who is at the center of this, to show them the full breadth of who they can be, of who they can be for themselves and who they can be for others. That empathy being in our mission, that is huge and critical. And that's why we do the work.
Yes, sir. I just want to highlight Hakeem's comment. It allows us, when we talk about the arts and activism and the influence, Hakeem says it allows us to have a unified understanding / feeling based on all of our senses. It could be all at the same time, or it could be a couple of them. And so, Akiba, your perspective on arts and activism and why it's important to keep the work that you mentioned in the center of the arts, not just with children, but just across the board. Your thoughts there?
Yes, all art is activism, Jimmy. All art. They're not separate. The late, great Elma Lewis, we all know Elma Lewis, Playhouse in the Park, the Elma Lewis School, great Elma Lewis shared with us and believed that the arts were the guts of the people. And if you think about, well, where's the guts, right? Many thoughts could be had there, but the guts is in the center.
In the center, in the soul.
So the arts is always in the center. Unfortunately, there are times when we separate that, but everything we do involves arts, and arts is activism. If I think about something like an Andy Warhol Campbell soup can, right? You see this big, bright Campbell soup can. That is protest. That is political. It all depends on how you see it and how it can be used. So the arts is always activism. The arts is active. The arts is present. And I also want to go back. I just want to follow this through line, this important conversation through line. That is an incredible distinguishing factor of BCC from day one. The the notion of embedding in a leadership role a EDI centered position is actually a remedy for the nonprofit world and for the arts because it's what's been missing all along. Every business has an accountant. Every business has a great visionary leader. Every business has different technicians, service delivery, customer relations management. Every business has an aspect, some kind of checks and balance, quality control that is based on the materials, the hard products. What are our quality control methods based on our humanity, based on social justice and coming together? And so one of the reasons why I took on this role, I'm a very hard-nosed theater producer, okay? Been doing that my whole life. And so to step out of the theater, to come to a children's chorus, and I joke with the team at BCC. I said, I don't know if I want to do that work with them privileged kids at the BCC. Them kids are so privileged with their cute red jacket. I don't know. That's hard work. But this is the exemplar, because this is where it starts. And so when I spoke, I remember speaking with some of the parents during the process, and realized that the work of a director of good trouble was extremely necessary. And they were expressing the work in their own industry, somewhere in education, somewhere in technology. And this work is not, so what I saw with Andres's vision and the board's vision and the staff's vision is that we've realized in the way of organizational management, there's been a fissure. There's been a major gap in how organizations operate and how they're speaking to community, how they're delivering services, whether it's a T-shirt or a theory. And so today, I want everybody to ask themselves, where is this social justice, where is civil rights missing in my life? Because that's what it's about. We have white supremacist, colonialist structures built into every aspect of our day-to-day lives. Where is the we shall overcome? Where is the civil rights movement? Two things happened in the United States. It was jazz and the civil rights movement that changed the entire world. Where is that showing up structurally in our organizations? What happened in this country during the civil rights movement has given power to different movements all over the world. But when does it become operational norms? So this is not only groundbreaking, this is beyond the world. This is late. We're just getting caught up. If we can, Jimmy, I'm going to ask this. If we can, I want to put on some social justice lens and say, oh my gosh, all this time, I just wasn't seeing. I was seeing through the wrong lens, or my lens weren't clean. This is what was missing. So it's a lens of justice and equity. And I'm not going to say it's not just EDI. It is EDI, and EDI is what it is.
It's so interesting because one would presume that in the artsy world, that this is a given, and it is not. It is not. There are systems and structures that are in place even within. We see what's going on with our writers and productions and whatnot. That is a lot to do with a lot of equity and diversity. So shout out to all of them and all, the folks that are supporting them and whatnot. We are getting close to time. And I know some of the work that you, Andres, are doing is not just so much having folks come in, but there's a lot of BCC's approach to go out and have different sort of arms in different parts of the community to ensure that there is this melting pot, if you will, of diversity. And so how is that happening as far as like rehearsals, locations? We haven't even talked about if young people, when is the deadline? How do young people, I'm sorry, because Akiva, y'all you just done got me messed up with this whole social justice piece in the art. I'm sorry.
We're going to need a 2-hour segment for us to unpack all of this, but
we can do it after work.
Because time is short, BCC is expanding our reach into multiple locations across the city. We're going to be having rehearsals for different choirs, different age ranges in 6 different locations. We'll be rehearsing as we have for 10 years at First Parish in Dorchester. And we're continuing our partnership with Zoomix in East Boston. There's a training choir there. And we're adding 4 new sites. We're going to be at Union Church, which is a historically Black LGBTQ affirming church. We're going to be at USIS, United South End Settlements. We'll be at the Footlight Club in Jamaica Plain, and we're going to be at Roxbury Community College in Roxbury. And you know, if you ask me, there's 2 or 3 more neighborhoods that I haven't mentioned that I really want to get a choir in, but I'm going to get in trouble with the team that's watching, so I'm not going to say anything. But know that we are working hard to remove at least one of the barriers that we can control, right? Which is geography. It is where do we place a program. We want to make it easy for parents and young people to engage with us. So that is the hope behind having our work in many different neighborhoods in the city. In addition to that, we're collaborating right now with both the Chelsea Public School System and with 5 different BPS schools on a year-long program with the young people in their schools, in the school time and space. And that is a new area of work for Boston Children's Chorus. We're really privileged to be able to serve in the very classroom where the children are. So, you know, there's a lot moving and changing and shifting, but we are really grateful for the opportunity to be able to share the things that we're really good at with so many children across the city.
It is just interesting. And I know we've had some convo at some point about doing something together with a gospel selection or whatever. But that when that happens, to have this, I mean, I've had some context about the choir, but you know, Akiva, so you need to be in the alto section, that or soprano, whatever, or tenor. Lesson is just not make bass.
I'll be in the silent section. I wasn't gifted with the talent of song, but I'll be in the audience.
She's good. She's good. Andres, you got the right one here, bro.
Listen, I'm scared every day. I'm just like, Akiba, I know that I wanted someone who was going to push an agenda, and I'm just so grateful that she's like, we're not sitting down and waiting for some year in the future. We're doing this today. Let's get to work. So I'm grateful for the partnership with Akiba.
I know we're running out of time, but I want to circle back to our season theme and our singers. Yep. And you know, when I learned of our season theme being True Colors, I said yes. It's interesting. We are in a time of liberation, of people fighting for their rights, but we are still being marginalized. As we push the margins, as we start to erase them, there are people pushing back and shortening lives, okay? And we're all gonna stand together. We're all gonna move forward together. And this idea, you know, it's interesting, one of my favorites, speaking of gospel, Jimmy, this is my favorite song is, I got a robe, you got a robe, all God's children got a robe, okay? And when I get to heaven, I'm gonna talk to God about my life. No one's gonna tell me about my life on this earth because God's got a robe for me in every way that I show up on this earth. And what I've come to understand is that as we become liberated, we liberate ourselves back into captivity, because then we start to say, oh, but you don't belong here because you don't make enough money. Oh, but you don't belong here because you're short. Oh, but you don't belong here because you're fat. Oh, but you don't belong here because you love women and you're a woman. You don't belong here because you have 2 daddies. No. We will not liberate ourselves into captivity. We will liberate ourselves into the true Garden of Eden that God and the angels created this planet to be. So we at Boston Children's Chorus, we are celebrating the liberation of all people on multiple levels, all families. Everybody's welcome to God's cookout, okay? Let's start there. And all God's children got a robe. So, and I use the robe metaphor because we're a chorus. Okay. And so that's what this is about. It is about keeping the margins away, moving out of these margins, and liberating ourselves into true universal peace and love, and to get so that everybody can enjoy this earth and enjoy each other. And those are our true colors.
You better go ahead and wrap it up.
Joy is
You
our
see that
true
circle? That
color.
circle is
Okay?
full.
So that's what we're about. In addition to the great work that we're doing in the classroom and in our training, we are going to be partnering with the JAR, which is an incredible organization that has been, speaking of pushing the margins, creating conversation spaces around the greater Boston area. And the JAR will be working with BCC specifically to create conversation spaces about LGBTQI topics for families, families who are in the know and families who want to know, and greater community. Okay, so lots going on. Keep your eyes on our website, stay on our Instagram. We have the best social media. Alexis, shout out to Miss Alexis.
No,
She's the
yes.
best
you don't.
social
No,
media
you don't.
person
No,
on
you don't.
the planet.
Hold on,
You're gonna find out. Go check out our Instagram and you're gonna find out. Okay.
You just we gonna beef about who got the best social media.
I love it.
Jesus,
I love
ABMI.
Every, everyone at BCC knows that I'm extremely competitive. I told everyone, I said, listen, I was a Brighton High cheerleader. I did varsity sports. I ran track. So when it comes to bring it, let's go.
Said,
okay.
You said you went to Brighton.
Yes. Okay. Don't even. We're gonna talk offline. But we were in the 90s. We were very competitive. We were, we were the best. Don't start. We're gonna move on. True colors.
Right, you got I like your true colors.
Do you see?
You
Keep
got
me on my toes.
But
Jimmy, at the end of the day, we serve children ages 7 to 18.
Okay.
And for us, it's really important that, there's many children in our younger choirs who are not even having the conversation about their identity in this way. But for us to be able to tell them about how do you become an upstander instead of a bystander when you see something that you might not understand and your little friend is getting bullied, harassed, or called names that you don't even understand what they mean. That's what they're going to be focusing on, the concept of allyship. And then our older singers, ages 12 to 18, are going to be exploring the topics in all of its facets and diversity. And it's really important for us to center right now. We have a seismic shift in this country happening and in the world. I have the stats pulled up. Gallup, 2012, 3.5% of the US population identified as LGBT. 2021, 7.1% of the population. That's a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
More people are coming out to their families. More people are coming out to their friends. We have a huge disparity in depression and mental health issues, suicidal ideation, and LGBTQ population. 69% as of 2021.
Largely among people that look like you and I. Akiba as well, but there's a big increase in
huge.
In young.
The Surgeon General just put out the report on loneliness. We have 69% of LGBTQ youth experiencing depression, persistent depression, hopelessness, against 35% of their heterosexual peers. This is a crisis. This is not something that, why can we talk about something? No, we are here because lives are at risk, and we're going to elevate, not the risk, we're going to elevate the joy and the beauty that the LGBT community brings into this world. That's the work of this season, and that's the true colors that we're trying to shine through. So we're excited for the experience.
I know
there's so much. Go ahead, Akiba. Go ahead.
I want to just say very quickly, I want to just take home these stats that Andres has shared with us. I want to take them to the barbershop. I want to take them to a barbershop on Blue Hill Ave in Mattapan Square, where I get my hair done, get my eyebrows lined up, okay? And sometimes when I, need to do other things, I go to the barbershop and get it done. My hair salon is in a barbershop. And one day I was in the hair salon, the barbershop is in the front, and I'm Caribbean, okay? I'm Jamaican American. And a gentleman was talking about the subject, the brothers And when I put this frame, we know we say black, barbershop, Blue Hill Ave, Mattapan, Jamaican,
Yep.
Caribbean. You know
Got the
what
whole
comes next.
context. Yep.
Completely know that's not ours, etc.
Yep.
But one day a gentleman comes in and he says, you know, they're having a conversation and they're going back and forth and they're going hard. But then this gentleman, this father, Caribbean father, he said, yeah, but how do I learn how to love my kid? That's my kid, man. That's my kid. I want to learn how to love my kid. Oh, it's hard to not cry.
Mhm.
And so we have to create spaces where the conversations are not just about excluding. And how do we have um, spaces that break up these cultural norms of exclusion? Because at the end of the day, parents have children, and we learn every day how to look after our children. So one of the things I'm really excited about with BCC is that this space for parents and community dialogue, because it's not, people want to learn how to love their kids. That's what he said. When do I learn to love my kid?
That is
Yeah.
so important. I'm glad to hear that positive experience. I've had one in the barbershop as well. And it was opposite. It was
Yes.
opposite. Dude was like, that's not my child anymore.
Mhm.
And so,
Mhm.
thank you. It's we're going to get back to sort of the mental health Monday, but it exuded all through this conversation as far as having space. You don't necessarily have to agree and endorse. Let's just also name, for those that have been going around doing these little protests and all this other stuff, this is not a promotion. This is not a inducting. This is a creating a space just in case, one, young people are going through it, the process, all the stuff that comes with young people and dealing with their identity. And as you said, Andre, some of them don't even know yet, but maybe some of their friends might. And so this whole community piece within the choir, and it's not nothing new, especially in the Black community. We all grew up with community choirs, and it caused a different sense of family. Salvation Corporation, Bay State, Temple Worshipers, New England Mass Choir, Garth. Well, no, that was more of, I think, a church choir. But it is so encouraging to know that this is going on. Yes, their arts are being developed, their principles, and they're knowing how to read music and stuff like that. But having this foundation that transcends away from BCC. I talked earlier about we don't know what goes on in their home and in their community after, but we do know that you all, I'll end with this, you all are really changing society. Every time there's a conversation, an experience that has anything to do with marginalizing other young people or marginalized groups, the young people that have been a part of your group, something's going to click. And then everybody that sees that intervention, that explanation, from that point forward, guess what? Their influence. I don't know, Kiba, if you remember Andre's either, but there used to be this commercial called this shampoo called Suave. And if one person tried it and they told somebody, others would try it, and so on and so on. It's the Suave effect that happens in society. So I salute both of you and everybody there that's a part of the staff, the parents. I love the space you're creating for parents. Don't come just drop them off. Less influence, just in case when they home being welcoming and endearing and whatnot, and you looking at them side-eyed, no, baby, y'all need to come have a conversation with us too, so you can understand and actually support and enhance what you guys are teaching there at BCC. So I really thank both of you for spending the time with us today. We went a little bit over time, but it was well worth it.
Jimmy, I haven't asked for you. I haven't asked for you and anyone that's listening. Now that I learned about this Suave commercial that I will research,
okay,
if you can help us create that Suave effect,
yes, yep,
about BCC,
yes,
we need every single person who's heard what we're doing. If this resonated with you, go out there and tell one person. I mean, I'd be grateful if you tell three, but tell more people. We need people to find out and learn and deepen their involvement with BCC. Whether you want to volunteer, you want to send children, you want to come to a concert, you want to support, time, talent, treasure, we need all of it.
I'm going to make
Suave effect.
We make the put the website up there again so folks can see it. It's actually hyperlinked in the comments for you to either get more information or get information about the season. I'm also going to put it for those of you to take screenshots. It's pretty much easy to remember. It is basically bostonchildren'schorus.org. bostonchildren'schorus.org. We don't really have to type the www anymore. That's for us old heads. But that is the address. Please go tell somebody about it. Post this episode, share this episode on your page, tag some parents. We know that there's a lot going on in our community with young people. A lot of the chatter included. We need to give them something to do. Here's an option, y'all. So
call me maybe. Yeah.
So, I really appreciate both of you. Andres, it's interesting because I forgot you had mentioned that your first gospel experience was with the Embrace, the Voices of Embrace, and so that's definitely an honor, and we'll figure out how to get some stuff done with the young people there because they got a whole different level of energy, and I would work them from here to Jesus come.
You might be getting a call about a little something.
I will modulate them. I will modulate them into that. What is that? That megahertz or that 960? What is that called? The heavenly,
where you can't even hear the frequencies anymore. Just
I will have the frequency where their mouths are moving and the dogs outside. No, so let me stop. Jesus. Okay. I appreciate both of y'all. Have a wonderful day. Godspeed in what you're doing and strength. We hope that your fundraising doubles this year. Somebody sees and watches this and just y'all get a check. And then just remember, Andres, you can do your little advertisement on the Java Cafe. No, something.
I'm serious. Just watch. The ads are going to start tomorrow.
Don't start. But when the million comes, it's coming, brother. It's coming because this is needed. You don't know whose life you've impacted throughout the years. Leslie, a parent in here, said that her children were in their 28, 29 now. You don't know who will make it and look back and be like, hey, if it wasn't for this, so because Dr. Jones or Hubie Jones has had an influence in a lot of spaces in a lot of people's lives. So thank both of you. We'll talk soon. And I won't be able to see you Saturday, Andres, but
I'll see you soon.
Okay.
We should go out for lunch again. Yeah, that was fun.
Absolutely. We can do that. And bring Akiba as well.
There you go. Well, listen, then you're gonna get in trouble, in good trouble.
Well,
let's continue the conversation. I want to know why you were shading my Brighton High, but we're going to talk offline.
It wasn't shading. So I went to the TAF, which is, I don't know what it is now, but I'm that old. The TAF was across the street. And back in my day, let's just say that I knew that Brighton students were competitive and they often exerted energy when they competed that they didn't lose.
And the sip. See, that's how you close that sentence. And sip.
And sip.
We were celebrating.
And Steve.
Jimmy, you have a show to run. We got to get out of here.
Y'all get out of here because they probably got a 10 o'clock to go set y'all up for that million. I appreciate both of you all. Have a good day. And thank you.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jimmy.
Great day. Great rest of your week. Get some Marley. Get some Marley going. Turn on that Marley. Yes.
Y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all.
One love. Yes.
Listen, if you are not walking out on this, not really Mental Health Monday, but walking out encouraged, inspired, that Akiba. And all credit to the brother. Did I just see? Tina Sherry is in the room, y'all. I'm honored to have everybody in here, that they are in here. But, there's certain names that when they pop up, hi, Clementina Sherry, Chaplain Sherry. It's good to see you in the room this morning. You just threw me off. Okay. So don't forget, folks, go to bostonchildren'schorus.org to get the bostonchildren'schorus.org to get more information. That address gets you everywhere to the sign up to the season and everything like that. Thank all of you for turning in today. And we will be back tomorrow. It is so funny, y'all. Okay. So on tomorrow's episode of Java with Jimmy, I'm sorry, y'all. You missed. God. Okay, so y'all don't know. A whole lot just went on. All right, let me fill you in. So I know I open up my phone And oh Jesus, I open up my phone to find out who's coming on tomorrow because Anissa scheduled it. So first, let me do that. But let me tell you, as I open my phone, I see a text from someone whose opinion I really value, and they were watching this morning and just messed me up with their affirmation of how we were flowing this morning. So that's all, y'all. I'm just a little jacked. All right, tomorrow is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. It's Testimony Tuesday, and we're going to speak with the new leadership. I'm trying to read it here. New Leaders Council and housing staff, a former housing staff attorney, and also with the Massachusetts Law Reform Institute. And we are going to check in with them about their approach to ensuring that folks are engaged in the electoral process and a whole bunch of, let me stop. I don't have the description right here, but Brother Mark, and also, I know Anissa's going to get me. We got to figure out a way to do a one-line briefing. And so they're coming on tomorrow. We have a very interesting show tomorrow with the New Leaders Council. Shout out to that person that texts me that's in here, Shadow, watching and listening. I appreciate every influence that you've had in my life. Hopefully you're still watching. Also, as you all are getting ready to go, I'm going to be honest. I'm trying to hold this over to 10:02 so UCB folks can get their hour and a half for their points. This is very sincere. To everyone that text, I'm going to go more into this on Thursday because I have guests up until Thursday. To everyone that texts, that called, that put a post, that liked the post, that loved, that sent a cash app, that showed up on Thursday, that plans to show up on Saturday. I really appreciate you. This has been one of the best birthdays of my entire 52 years of being on this earth. It is interesting adjusting and I received the love, but embracing it freely without just feeling weird. I'm doing better. Thursday tripped me out. I was so uncomfortable. Just, I was up checking on people. You good? Everything all said. Are you good? This is your party. And so thank everybody. Y'all packed out Estella's. Shout out to George. First of all, shout out to Anna Maven, or Anna Foster and Emerson. They had the dinner groups, Men of Color Conference reception on Wednesday. So I go out and support that. Some other brothers came with me. We had a table and all that stuff. And I see bottles with the little lights and whatnot. And so I know it was Shelly Mendez's birthday recently. I pull my phone out and was going to make sure that, I feel I do good footage, that she gets a good shot of her bottle service for her birthday. So they walk past Shelly's table, and the woman comes over and says, well, she comes close to me. And so I sincerely look at her and I said, well, who's that for? And she says, you. Lost it. So first time having bottle service. The next night, we're at Estella's. And the same thing happened. Shout out to Georgia. We're going to talk more about the birthday stuff, and we'll have video and stuff and pictures on Thursday. But thank all of you that came out and posted social media, sent well wishes. Miss Teresa for everything. So I appreciate all of you. As Aaron has posted here, there is a open community event on this Saturday. I just want to see folks and we just eat a little bit, chill, hang out. If you're interested in attending Jimmy's birthday party this Saturday, RSVP, that link is right there. Aaron, I know Aaron is like, wait, oops. There's the link for what Aaron, thank you. Y'all are holding me down in here. Here's the link to Saturday for you all to come on Saturday to the event from 3 to 6. We'll be there right at 3 and wrapping up right at 6, just to spend some time in fellowship with the community. Miss Jackson, y'all, I'm sorry. I say yo and dog, when I get real passionate, I used to say to Bishop all the time, people I respect. I said yo to the mayor one day. He said something to me and I got permission to do something. I was like, yo. So sorry. Gail Jackson is in the room. Someone that moves in communications. I got to hug her the other night, put a face with the name. I kind of knew it was her. Gail, it's so good to see you in the room this morning. It's an honor to see you in here this morning. Great. I just said it twice, but great to see you in here this morning. So Leslie, we'll miss you on Saturday, but thank you for the support, you being in here every day. Listen, everyone, I think Sharon would agree. It is 10:03. For those of you that get points for watching with Union Capital Boston, you should be able to get 90 minutes today. Sharon, please type in the comments if that is the case, and we'll let you go after that. Tomorrow, don't forget, we will be talking with the New Leaders Council. And this Friday, Mayor Wu had to reschedule because she had to go be a mom and take her children to school, and then also be a mayor and visit schools and do all that stuff. So she had to reschedule from last Wednesday to this coming Friday. So we'll have a special Java with Jimmy this Friday at 9 a.m. with Mayor Wu. Okay. I think that is it. Leslie, it was definitely good to see you on Friday as well. And Sharon has confirmed you all get 90 minutes for your points for Union Capital Boston. That's it for me, everybody. We will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day. Remember to be mindful of your mental health. And I was not texting, but what's the word? I was Facebooking, rather, commenting with Dr. Brandy yesterday. We're going to figure out how to get her back and do some football stuff. We just got to figure out the recording and the time and stuff like that. All right, that's it for me. Sister Irvin, thank you. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for the support and your kind words. Thank you, Pastor Marion. I'm going to miss you on Saturday, but I appreciate y'all and love y'all. I know there are folks that sometimes you don't have to experience their presence, but even if they're not in the cafe virtually, there's some folks I'm like, okay, where they at today? If I don't see them comment or whatever, because I'm just used to y'all. That's I'll be honest. That's a large part of me not switching time and whatnot. Good portion of us have been locked in to this Monday through Thursday, Friday, first year, 7 days at 9 a.m. Well, Saturday and Sunday, we took a break and it was on later. I'm rambling. Have a great day. We'll see you guys